So you can start.
All right. Uh, Good evening, everyone. My name is Surpi Gupta, and I am a coordinator in the Office of Career Studies, IIT Delhi. On behalf of the entire team of OCS, I would like to warmly welcome you all to this workshop series. The objective of these talks is to promote healthy interactions between industry leaders and our students. Today, we will be focusing on the field of biotechnology, and for a discussion on topics like future scope of biotechnology, career options in biotechnology, etc. I'll be moderating this session along with Radha Krishnan, who is also a coordinator. The talk is being conducted in the following format. Part 1 will be insights given by our expert panelists, which comprises of Mr. Vibhava Shukla from Cura Tech Biologics, a subsidiary of Aurobindo Pharma, Mr. Avinash Mishra from Grodia Technologies, and Mr. Rupinder Singh from Biohouse Solutions. Part 2 of the webinar will be a Q&A session. I would like to request all viewers on YouTube to kindly put their questions in the chat box. We will take all of them together at the end of the session. Now, let's move on to hearing what our panelists have to say. I would like to start with Mr. Vibhava Shukla. He is the Senior Research Scientist 2 at CureTech, a subsidiary of Aurobindo Pharma. Mr. Vibhava has a postgraduate degree from BITS Pilani. He began his career as an associate biomodeling scientist at Cellworks, after which he joined Biocon and brought his decades worth of experience in downstream research and development, scale up technology transfer, and process development into his current role as a leader of MSET for mammalian and microbial downstream process at Tech. I thank him for joining us today and will request him to take over. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Survi, and thank you, Radha, and thank you all for extending your invite to be a part of this interactive session. And when this invitation was sent to me first time, I can find the correlation very easily that exactly I was in the same domain and the same position during my master. About how my career further, what exactly I need, what exactly I should do. You can get, the attention of industry who can teach you, who can absorb you, and they can give you a job which you look for. So, once again, while thanking, I will just try to begin my conversation. So, first of all, I would like to make this, talk a little interactive. I thought maybe I can present some slides, but I thought maybe I will share my experiences of past 10 to 11 years, how I felt, how do we go about the selection procedure of the candidates when we go for interview process and those things. So maybe the candidates and students can find a lot of correlation with that. So just to begin with, since I know that the participants are the BTech are the master students of IIT Delhi, and there is no dearth of knowledge with respect to the basics, whatever is being taught in the college at IIT Delhi. I'm very sure about it. But sometimes what we feel as a recruiter when we are interviewing any particular candidate, sometimes the candidate lack in the basics of any kind of theory or any kind of knowledge, whatever we are supposed to understand. For example, I will just give example of sometimes we ask the definition of molarity and normality, and sometimes even candidates struggle to define the definition of molarity and normality also. So like that, we just want to understand how the candidate has shaped up their understanding and the thought process during the course curriculum. Since I know that in the IT Daily we are, you guys are being taught biochemical engineering in a very depth and very much in details. But still, if someone asks you about the mass transfer, the concepts of mass transfer, how the thermodynamics laws applies, or how the chromatography operations being handled at industrial scale or at scale up, sometimes actually we find that students are not having that kind of apt knowledge. So basically, when someone is looking for a career options, there could be multiple career options. You can start your career in an industry or anywhere just after completing your BTech or after completing your masters, or maybe sometimes you can go for the higher education through PhD. You can apply for the multiple exams like GRE, or in India it can be CSIR or any other exams. But what primarily, remains constant, or what primarily remains being sought after from the candidates would be the depth of the basics and depth of the theoretical knowledge, what exactly you should, have in yourself. And Of course, I mean, there is no, a lack of vacancies in the industries, but at the same time, there is a lot of, supply also of the candidates to the industry. So, there is a very, very fine balance of demand and supply. What exactly the industry is looking forward, or industry looking for in a candidate, and what as a candidate you are, going to offer to them when you are being presented as a part of interview panel or something. So that's what my suggestion to all of you would be, to work on your basics always. And there are a lot of skill development areas where, we can start having, more understanding. For example, it's not only about understanding how the biochemical engineering aspects are being worked on, or what is the concepts of chromatography, or what is the concept of thermodynamics, but also nowadays in industry, if you look into more details, a lot of domains are coming, like statistical data interpretation, because the industry experts are doing the process characterization studies to find out how their process is behaving at scale in the manufacturing scale. So if someone is having a good knowledge of statistics, uh, that candidate can be preferred over the other candidates, because it all depends what uniqueness and what is the, novelty you are bringing to the table when you are being hired as a candidate, because people look forward to you with a very high esteem, and they also expect that you are bringing a lot of novelty and a lot of, uniqueness to the table, so that you can contribute in a more meaningful manner, and you can complement the industry, and industry can also complement you with the compensations, and those other things are there actually. So statistical data interpretation is one of the new field which is being emerging out nowadays in the pharmaceutical industries. You can also work on the quality by design aspects, and quality by design aspects, when we say that, it means uh, development. So you should know how the process is being developed during the development stage. So a lot of, even the government agencies are also coming up nowadays to offer you a quality by design kind of courses, where you can enrich your skills. But it is something like a theoretical aspect. Every now and then you can go through it and you can enrich your knowledge. For example, it's not the quality by design or the statistical data interpretation. For example, if you are going for any kind of basics knowledge, like chromatography or anything, now people are moving away from the traditional to the more kind of, disruptive technologies or very innovative technologies. For example, if you talk about the chromatography, nowadays membrane chromatographies are come up. Radial flow chromatography people are talking about since long. If you look at the bioreactors, these are the, moving bioreactors are there. Processing, you combine your process one after the other with a way. So this is kind of, package which makes to winning combination with respect to getting a good job. And we are thankful that in India, but steadily a lot of good pharma companies are coming up who are working in the areas of biosimilars and biopharmaceuticals, where, you can, fancy your chances to get a job as a candidate in the entry level, and you can, expand your knowledge base and your experiences in the industry. So this is kind of, one aspect of it. Another aspect could be your that there could be a lot of candidates who would be fascinating to know how the drug is being, launched in the market, because it's not that easy thing. You start from the very, very basics of the fermentation. For example, you start with the R&D actually things, and then you go for fermentation, you go for a scale up, you make your products, but not only make your products, but also you convince the regulators, like in the US FDA or the European Medicine or other countries in the rest of the world, to convince them that whatever product you are making, actually it is up to the quality, and it is exactly matching with the biosimilars, who are whatever the innovators have made so far actually. So it all comes with a, understanding of regulatory understanding, like how the regulatory sciences are working on to, complement the process development team to make sure that whatever drugs we are making actually as an industry, they are find the good takers in the market. Because your target market is not only in India, but also you have to, look forward. to the rest of the world markets, US market and the European market. So it's interdisciplinary science when you talk about the pharmaceutical industry. We are not only the one science, but I would say maybe 10 to 15 sciences are coming together, and they marry together, and then after that successful this combination only we are going to launch a product into the market. So my advice to the candidates would be to look forward, be a little open, not limit yourself to the textbooks and all, but come out and just try to understand what are all the things which they can look forward to it. For example, it could be your bioinformatics, because nowadays if you look at forward to the promoter designing or those things, people are taking a lot of help from the bioinformatics tool also. Upstream technologies are there where we are trying to do the fermentation of the any kind of recombinant DNA therapeutic proteins. A lot of statistical sciences which I mentioned before also, where you can go into the depth of the knowledge, and you can enhance your career into that domain also, like clinical sciences, statistical interpretation of the data. And always it remains the basic pharmaceutical, this basic understanding of the biopharmaceutical thing, where start making the drug and go for the final drug formulation or the drug product formulation. So if you look forward to it, there could be multiple domains which people can try. Molecular biology is there, bioinformatics is there, recombinant DNA technology is there, biochemical engineering is there, drug product formulation is there. So my suggestion to all of you would be to look forward to what exactly industry is doing, and how you can make yourself fit for that particular industrial requirement, because industry is also moving away from the traditional approaches to the more disruptive technologies. And that's the reason actually the people, the industries who are going and embracing the cutting edge technologies, they are winning the race to the other industries who are little behind in all these things actually. So it's all a market dynamics. It all depends like who is winning the race first in the launch of the product. If 3 4 companies are making the same drug and launching the same drug in the market, it all depends who is launching the drug first in the market with the same quality and good quality actually. So it all depends how we are pursuing our own thought process, and we make ourselves aligned with what is the industry is looking forward to it. That's a more important thing. So my suggestion to all of you would be to not only look at the college syllabus or whatever being taught to you, but also try to be inquisitive and enthusiastic about what extra you can gain from the subject knowledge, the industry practices, or the industries are looking forward to it. So it's not only like that. You have to only learn, because sometimes what we feel from a candidate, that if candidate is coming from a group institutes, they will bring some more novelty to the table and to the thought process. And it's kind of a complementary relationship. Like we can learn something from you guys, and you guys can also come and learn something from us. So it's always a symbiotic relationship between the industry experts and the new joiners who are going to come and join our industries or any kind of industries in the coming future. So with this, I would like to rest my case here, because I know that we have a limited time frame to complete this session, and I would love to answer your queries in the end of this session. And wish you all the very best. And once again, I would just request and suggest all of you, to be a little bit more open about what industry is looking forward as a candidate in you, and what exactly you can offer to the industry when you are joining the industry. Because working towards new technologies and working towards a new thought process will always be a key for your success in future. So all the very best.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experiences and giving guidance to the viewers. Now, let's introduce our second speaker for the day, Dr. Avinash Mishra. It is always a proud moment to hear from one of our alumni. Dr. Avinash holds a doctoral degree and was a postdoctoral fellow from the Department of Chemical Engineering at our very own IIT Delhi under the guidance of Prof. Jayaram. From here, he started his own venture as the managing director and co-founder of Novo Informatics Private Limited. Being a research entrepreneur in the domain of computational biology, he now is the lead scientist at his second venture, Grodia Technologies. His expertise is in the fields of drug design and in silico-based approaches to drug discovery. He has also received Indo-Australian Gold Fellowship for conducting research in Griffith University at Queensland, Australia, and is editor at Scientific Reports, Nature Publishing Group. It would be great to hear his experiences and journey. I thank him for joining us today and would request him to take over. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Suvi, for this nice introduction. So let me directly start my presentation by saying that my background is from the computational biology, a core computational biology research, and then I started few ventures. I also did my postdocs from Australia, and also part of postdoc is from IIT Delhi itself. My PhD is, of course, from IIT Delhi. So I'm going to talk briefly about that, how the market is changing and what are the possibilities that are coming for students in computational biology area, of course. So one question is definitely there, and we all know the answer, that why these days we are talking about the computational technique algorithm in life science. And the reason is because there is a huge chunk of data which is coming up from the experiments that we have done in the past. Now, once we have this kind of big data, we need some automated techniques and algorithm to analyze and understand the data and then interpret the data into a meaningful result. And that's why these days we are using different computational algorithm and techniques for in life science domain. Uh, so the next thing is that if you see that computational biology as a whole, you will find basically two kind of people. They could be same. They could have both the attributes, but based on their attributes, we can classify as a maybe as a computer scientist and biologist. Biologists are definitely those people I'm referring to, who are actually doing the experiment in the lab, and the computer scientists, or the people who are more involved in computational techniques, they are using those information, and they can analyze those data, they can interpret those data, they can predict using those data. These things can be done by a group of people we may call as a computer scientist. And once if you see this field of bioinformatics market, that how it is growing and what are the potential in this market, it looks very bright. Of course, it's a kind of projection, and because I started few ventures, so I know that there is always a difference between reality and projection. But if your projection is really good, then of course there is a good chance that you will land up in a good place in future. So if you see the projection of bioinformatics market, that how it is growing really very good. The CAGR, that is the annual growth rate, compound annual growth rate of this, is also very nice. And this picture is for the complete world bioinformatics market. And if you see that there are three basic segments, like the service segment, and then the bioinformatics platform, and the knowledge management tools. Knowledge management tools and bioinformatics platform, they are sharing almost like equal proportion, while service is also one of the sector which is coming up in this domain, but still it has a smaller chunk if you see the complete market. Um, Now, who are the main, employer from where you can get the job? What are the different industries where bioinformatics people, or the related science people can apply? So, of course, the biggest is pharmaceutical companies, where you will find most of the jobs are there. There is also biotech companies where you can find good opportunity. It is still not that big as pharmaceutical companies, but yes, it is growing, and in coming future we may see good impact of biotech companies on in this area of life science. And there are some small sectors also where the bioinformatics usage are there, like agriculture or personal healthcare. There you can also find opportunities for bioinformatics candidates. But what I want to really focus is these two areas which are coming with a very high speed these days. So, machine learning based companies and the data science based companies, and these are core computational I would say techniques, but they are highly used these days in biology or the biological data. And as you know, I don't want to say a lot about machine learning and data science, because most of the guys there must be very familiar with what are these techniques, and they also be familiar that these are the techniques being used highly in life science area these days. So if you know, if you're looking for a future or looking for more opportunities in computational biology field, these are the two things where you have to make yourself comfortable. You have to learn how much, whatever you can, and of course, if you have a biological background, and then you are adding these your knowledge on top of it, it will be a very nice combination in the market, because market is, you know, going towards this these areas of machine learning and data science, and how these techniques can be used in a life science domain. um, it, if you see the whole in silico biology, in silico means the computational biology. If you see the whole in silico biology, there are different segments. You know, you can classify them. Different people classify them differently. One of the classifications says that there is something called bioinformatics. There is something called system biology, and database and software development, and each are having a good amount of strength in their own domain, and they have their own companies in the market. So you know, my expertise is from the structural bioinformatics, where I focus to most of the times on drug discovery. But of course, there is a sequence data, you know, the genomic or all the omics data, where these computational techniques are highly useful, and people are using it. They are also using in you know, system biology for modeling the biological network. The first speaker, he worked in Cellworks. So this is system biology company Cellworks, and then database and software development. Of course, you know, here's something where it is open not only for the biology people or bioinformatics people, but it is also open for core computational people. So there you will find a tough competition, because there will be candidates who are completely from computer science background, and they definitely have much more understanding of these algorithms. But if you see the above two, bioinformatics and system biology area, there you need a strong biological knowledge along with the computational information. So there, I think the bioinformatics people or the people who are willing to take bioinformatics would be more helpful. So what are the skills required? You know, because I have been informed that students are joining this session, so that's why I would like to talk about that. What are the skills that you require? And because I run my own company, so I'm also looking for these kind of skill set. So it was not very difficult for me to write it down, that what kind of skill set required for a computational biology company. So these are so first is of course good teamwork. This is not specific to bioinformatics. It's like, you know, it is for all domain. But of course, if you see life science or bioinformatics or computational biology area, there are people from different disciplines, people from a statistical background, from a mathematical background, from core biology background, from chemistry background. So you need to be a good team player, because you have to work with people who are coming from different background. And then of course multitasking, that is also one of the major, I would say, attribute which is required. In terms of this is something very important, that in terms of computer language, I would suggest all the students there who are listening right now, that there are a couple of computer language, and you need to learn about that. At least make yourself comfortable. If you are not a very good programmer, that's okay. But if you are comfortable writing small codes and using Python or C++, or a statistical package or Perl, I mean, it could be like or. It's not and operator in between them. It's or operator. It means that either you are comfortable with Python or C++, R or Perl. So if you are comfortable with any one of these platforms, and of course Linux, make yourself comfortable working in Linux environment. Of course, Windows is much more friendly, but when it comes to data handling, when it comes to writing code, algorithm, hosting, all these things are done on Linux environment. So make yourself comfortable with that environment too. The next skill is these days, which are evolving a lot in general and also in life sciences, AI, ML. So try to at least theoretically know that what are the machine learning techniques, and if you are comfortable with once you are comfortable with Python, let's say, you can write small codes of machine learning, and believe me, these are not very tricky, because these days there are lots of inbuilt libraries, so you can go and write it down. That's not very difficult, and it will add a great value to your skill set. Then the data analysis, using those platform, you can do this data analysis, develop this data analysis skill. Bioinformatics tools, there are a few tools which are specific to bioinformatics, either for genomics, proteomics, or drug discovery. Similarly with the bioinformatics database. So you also have to learn about different kind of database, because these are the repository from where you will get the data, and then you will run your program or a data analysis package. So you also have to be very comfortable with these databases and tools. This is what you have to be a bit comfortable with, and try to develop one or more skill set in you, so that you will have a bright opportunity in future. So this is my venture, and what who we are and what we are doing is, so this is completely in silico life science based company. We are more in drug discovery research, but our focus is not only the drug discovery research, but also using this AI and machine learning and high-end computational techniques like MD simulations, um, to life science domain, not only to the drug discovery, but also related fields. We are also in area of development of databases and development of new tools, and how we can use those computational algorithm that I just discussed in life science domain. This is what we are focusing in this company. Um, this is the latest advancement. I thought maybe it would excite few of you that what we are doing. So this is one of the tool that we are making. You might have heard about QSAR. So this is called Quantitative Structure Activity Relationship. This is highly used in pharmaceutical companies, where this is in silico based technique, but it can be used for designing and development of new drug molecule by minimizing the error. Because I have experience working with pharma company, and I've seen that people are using these kind of techniques there. So this is one of the tools that we are developing right now, and this is under development process. Very soon we are going, maybe by the end of this month, we are trying to finish this and launch the beta version of this tool. Yes, that's it. I think thank you everyone. Thank you Radha for inviting me, and thank you all the members there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving this insightful presentation on computational biology and introducing to growth technologies. I'm sure it will be very helpful for our viewers. Now, moving towards our third speaker, Mr. Rupinder Singh, who is the CEO and founder of Biohouse Solutions and the director of Next Gen in Vitro Diagnostics. Post a gold medal in biotechnology from Punjab University, he joined Lupin as a research associate, from where he built his strong foundation in multiple domains of life science and strong business acumen. He also served as a regional director of Asia at Kerry Bioscience. He then started Biohouse Solution and has been serving the scientific community for the past decade. I thank him for joining us today and would request him to take over. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Surabhi. First of all, really appreciate for giving me this opportunity to connect with the students. So whenever I used to visit, I always wanted to interact with biotech students, and I'm happy that this is happening. I'm also associated uh, is now my son. In minutes. Uh, so can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Can you see my presentation now?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, so thanks for wasting these 2 minutes. But as I said, I have been looking forward to interacting with all of you. In next 6 to 7 slides, probably another 15 minutes, I'm going to present to you in terms of uh, skills, aspirations, and how do you match your aspirations and go for your right kind of career. Uh, Dr. Vinash and Mr. Shukla has already shared with you a couple of insightful things important for the students. Uh, but I keep saying that one should build himself a great story, a great career around what his passion area is. So let me start with the first. Uh, uh, very important is first you must choose your passion area, because I have seen a couple of students who just get into it for the heck of it, probably from the parents pressure or hearsay, but you should be doing something which you love, 24 by 7 by 365, something which you can pursue, without somebody pushing you. And that happens only when you like the subject. For example, the earlier speaker, Dr. Avinash, the way he was talking about, AI, ML, or software or drug discovery, so the passion comes out. So similarly, my advice to all the students would be: number one, choose your passion correctly, and passion has to be productive one. Once you choose your passion, once you have selected that, okay, I want to go for biotechnology. Within biotechnology, I want to go for, say, uh, so then you should get deep into it, and that's where my second point comes, is perform your best. So once you choose your passion, then you need to really deep dive. You really need to deep dive into it, so that you build knowledge. You also start learning the nuts and bolts of that particular industry, or really need to be best work. You have to go and find out the right network for you. Who are the people in India, who are into fermentation? Who are the companies or industries who are into fermentation? For example, I give you another example, that, somebody is interested in fermentation and he's interested in vaccine. So there are at least 12 exporters of vaccine from India at the moment. So it is extremely important for you to network with the right people. Uh, Otherwise, whatever you want to do, you will, if you're not connected with your network, I think, your uh, efforts are going to be all waste. Then when you perform your best, when you have built your network, so people will start noticing, what you are doing. Sell, then people will start noticing you. The network will start noticing you. Once they all get attracted, you build them. Means you use that opportunity. So my advice to all the students would be, uh, attract the right kind of eyeballs, attract the right kind of attention, way before, don't look at, when you need job, start very early and start connecting with the people who can give you that opportunity in the future. And once you get that opportunity, then you need to negotiate hard. uh, you must utilize that opportunity in the best possible manner. Now what will happen, so you get the opportunity, you then optimally utilize the opportunity. The next step is, once you get selected, create value, create value for the employer. Either you can be an entrepreneur if you're starting on your own, or if you have been chosen for an industry, then do your best. Do your best in terms of, if you're working there, ensure that you are creating value for them. So you become entrepreneur there, so you are not putting your money, but you have been given a job, and you need to excel in the job. You need to give best innovation for the employer. So create value. Before we really talk about, how to go about it, I would like to discuss biotech stats as of now for India. So R&D remains 0.8% of GDP. Uh, this 0.8% of GDP, our total India's GDP as of today is somewhere around 8.6 uh, trillion dollar. So 0.8% of that is R&D spend, which is actually much lower than other countries. But good thing is, in terms of absolute values, it is almost quadrupled in last 20 years. So R&D spend is happening in the field of biotechnology. Biotech industry as of today is somewhere around $51 billion, and we are aspiring for exceeding $100 billion by end of 2025. 55,000 students graduate every year from this sector. Now, if you look at the sectors, so these are the stats how the market is. Now, if you look at, what's happening, so the most active market which we have seen in the COVID times and even earlier as well is patient-driven market. So market which is healthcare, pharmaceutical, diagnostic, because we have to serve 1.37 billion people, and for doing so, we need to have, a lot of work which has to go critical R&D, a lot of work which has to go into diagnostic R&D, a lot of work has to go into providing nutrition to all these people. Uh, the most happening field uh, remains, patient-driven market. It's very cash-rich as well. Similarly, the other trends like data analytics is one of the upcoming area, and I am also in the funding panel of startups. So we are seeing a lot of data analytics and AI company coming in. We also get a lot of traction in e-commerce companies, in the field of biotechnology. Of course, food. Feeding 1.37 billion people So you can imagine, what kind of food industry or agriculture industry is involved there. Design, robotics, energy. That's another sector, which is huge. Biofuel is huge. Make in India is being emphasized quite a bit, and I know n number of companies in COVID time who have come forward, who have filed patents, and who have created immense value for themselves. As of now, around 1,500 biotech startups are involved. And one information to the students: if you go for your startup, that's one of the best area to create wealth and valuation. And you are studying in one of the most premier institution as of today. So who can be better than you, in terms of creating that wealth, creating those kind of startups? So go for it. Biotech, which is a funding agency which helps, the commercial innovation, has already supported 316 startups. Uh, so what should be the right way to go? The right way to go is, number one, start early. A lot of people, particularly us, because we don't have right kind of mentors. So what we end up doing is, uh, we start, almost at the fag end of our education, when we do our masters, or when we finish our PhDs. But as I shared in the first slide, you've chosen your passion. So from that day, you should start, in terms of building your career or creating your value. Start networking with the people on LinkedIn. So first and foremost is, don't waste time. Start early as possible. That's number one. Number two, network fast. You need to network, as I said, whatever field you have chosen, in that particular field, you need to connect with the right kind of network, either through LinkedIn or through social marketing, digital media. Make sure that you are able to do that, on fast forward manner. So network fast with the right kind of people. Don't go for crap. Have mentors. Like people keep saying that, you become average of five people you interact with all the time. And this is the reason, if you have mentors early in your career, I'm sure, you will grow much faster way you are growing right now. So ensure that you are choosing mentors. If you have some people, good people around, go for them. Otherwise, subscribe to some good mentors' work and all, or follow their work digitally, or on internet. But do have mentors, so that will make your journey much faster. Communication is the key. What we are doing right now is we are communicating. We are learning from each other. So whatever your mind, you need to share. To share with your employer, you need to share with your network, you need to share with other students, you need to write grants. That all comes under communication. So communication is the and build image. That's very important. You cannot build image in a day. So if you are going for good careers, make sure that you are networking with people, you are making a good image for yourself in the market. If somebody has given you an opportunity, do your best so that people remember and you create good image for yourself. Now, three important points which I think we all must know is, make money in money. So, I was doing a lot of research, and you can actually subscribe to my work on YouTube. I keep sharing with the students, and I'm also coming up with a video on biotech careers in India. So the point which I'm trying to make is, make money in money. So wherever the financial transactions are happening and they are of bigger value, if you participate in that, you will also end up creating more money for you. So my advice would be, go for the fields, go for the research areas, go for work where there is immense funding which is happening. You are enabling that funding, or you are utilizing that funding, you are creating value for somebody. But you can create money or wealth only where the wealth is moving. Otherwise, you cannot have wealth or a good lucrative situation if you are standing somewhere, on an island, where nothing is happening. So go for the sectors where a lot of money is available, and that is your passion area as well. So choose very wisely, find problems and offer solutions accordingly. So for example, if you're going for a good research, this thing, you need to find a good problem and then offer solutions, so that people look at you as a value creator, and they will fund you. They will support you with whatever you are doing. And the third one is, knowledge is power. People say knowledge is power. I would say knowledge is not power. Applying knowledge is the real power. It's like, knowing but not doing anything with that knowledge is of no use. If you keep watching some information all the time and you're not using it anywhere, so it's all you're just wasting your time. So don't do that. uh, uh, so what will be the right way to choose careers? So these four bullet points, please keep in mind. For example, some student or somebody has got, career options he wants to look at. The best thing is go and search options first. Go on Google, go sites, where is available. For example, somebody wants to go into AI or ML, find out in India how many companies are working on AI or ML. Once you have that information, just structure the information, then match your interest. It's also very important that it should match your interest. Somebody who is not good in coding or somebody who is not good in data analysis is a good marketing man. But if he's trying to get into a coding job, it will be misfit and it will misfire. So match with your interest, look at your basic nature, look at your strengths, then align. Number two, hard work is not enough. A lot of people do hard work. You have to do hard work, but direction needs to be correct as well. So make sure that your hard work is going in the right direction. I will elaborate this maybe little later sometime when we got opportunity, because we are running up for the time. Self-awareness is must. You should know what you are and what you are good at. Don't go into everything. Just try to get into where you feel that you are able or capable of doing that. Go for best experience, even if salary is less. For example, I've seen students from IIT. Sometimes I have seen students going for a very good exposure, but their uh, internship is less in that company, but they still go for it. The reason is because they are sure that they are going to get the world class experience and learning there. So go wisely about choosing the right experience. And if you are great at something, if you're passionate about it, go for it.
Thank you, sir, for all the great insights in depth. Now, I think we could move on to the question and answer session. So, we have been getting questions in the YouTube chat box, and I can list out the things. So, the first question is, what about the stem cell research in India? So, it's open to all, and anyone could answer the question.
Yeah, I think I would take that. We have a couple of customers in stem cell, customers like CryoViva or, there are n number of stem cell customers in India, for Biohouse. So there are a lot of stem cell companies which are existing in India. There are companies who are working on dendritic cells. There are companies who are storing cord blood banks are there. Uh, so there is a good potential. It's an evolving field, and uh, opportunities are available. Though I think in COVID times it has gone little slow on that, but it remains a good opportunity.
Thank you for the answer, sir. So, now we could move on to the next question. What is the future of biofuels in India, and how one can be market ready to be hired for these jobs?
So Radha, maybe I can answer this question. Uh, See, practically speaking, people have started working on the biofuels, and especially the Indian government is also quite keen to take up this good opportunities while working on the biofuels, because it's a good alternative of the conventional fuel system. But as far as the infrastructure and the companies are concerned, honestly speaking, there are not much of the companies who are still, started working on it. But as far as the candidates are concerned, they need not to, work especially on this particular area, because this is nothing but the basic techniques only. where you try to generate the biofuels and try to do a little bit of purification, and it will be ready for uses. So as a candidate, you will not to do anything extra about it. Just be clear with your basics and thought process, and then things will fall in place.
Okay, I just want to add something to Vibha, what he said. So he's absolutely right that right now it is emerging in India, and if something is there more in academic culture, like biofuels, right now it is more in academia than industries. So once it is get matured in academia, and then you can see numerous patent around it, then of course you will see that the market will respond for that. So right now it is more as a academic research. Yeah.
Well, well,
Please follow. Uh, uh, Current Avinash correctly says, looking look at there is in the general, but as Mr. Shukla also said, currently jobs wise it's not huge at the moment, but it's a promising field for sure.
that's great, sir. So the next question would be, what is the most effective way to approach the companies?
Yeah, I will go for it. Okay. Uh, so you need to speak what other person wants to listen. So if you are targeting an industry, uh, you should speak the language which they want to hear. For example, if you are going to Dr. Avinash company, so then you need to speak, probably AI or ML, or you need to uh, have a project or an idea which you can discuss and impress him. For example, if you are going into a pharmaceutical company, say for example in R&D department, so then look at what work they are into. For example, I work with Lupin R&D. I filed 4 Indian patents, 1 PCT application, international patent. So if I have to approach a Lupin for R&D, so what I will do is I will actually look at their profile, that they are in TB drug, what are their top selling blockbuster drugs, how many patents they have. So you need to prepare yourself well, in that direction, so that when you get an opportunity to interact with a Lupin guy who can potentially hire you, you need to impress him with what ideas you have which are meaningful for Lupin R&D. And this is the reason when I said, start early. So in your field, first of all, become expert, and then whichever industry you are applying to. For example, somebody wants to apply in Goldman Sachs in biotechnology consulting job. So he needs to understand what Goldman Sachs is doing in the field of biotechnology and what are they going to ask. So prepare accordingly. Then your chances of getting hired is way higher.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to add up to what Mr. Dr. Rupinder has told just now, that uh, exactly you need to have a good networking in place. Like nowadays, LinkedIn is a very powerful tool to interact with the potential recruiters, but at the same time it's very essential to project yourself in a particular mail, because if you're writing any mail to a recruiter, you should be bang on and you should be very crisp and clear with what exactly you are going to ask to the recruiters, because as a recruiter probably he may not have that much of time to look at the entire mail conversation. So your mail should be very short and crisp, and at the same time you need to have a good subject line to the mails. And as far as your resumes or CVs are concerned, it should not be that lengthy CV. It should be precisely in a 1 page or maximum in the 2 pages, so that if any recruiter is having go at your CV also, he need not to spend too much of time on it. So I think that is one advice from my side as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Just,
that's an
just
excellent advice. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add one more point, because I am from IIT Delhi and I know the culture there, and there are many companies in incubation center in synergy building. You will find many companies working in biotech and life science domain. So try to use your internship. Do some meaningful internship, not just for your purpose of your course, but also to learn something. It really helps when you approach any company. So that definitely helps. So try to reach those incubators and find out if there is something common in your interest and their area, and do some meaningful internship.
Yeah, that's a very good clue. Absolutely.
Thank you for all the answers, sir. So we could move on to the next question. What is the better stage to enter the industrial city? Is it a master's student or a PhD? So what are industry experts expects?
So maybe I can start, and later on, other two speakers can also add their thoughts on that. It depends on that in which domain you are eyeing for, what exactly domain you are eyeing for. If it is core research, then of course PhD is, I would suggest, the better option. Then once you complete your PhD, then of course you go for research. But there are other things also, like as I said, that the bioinformatics area has many other discipline, starting from statistics, mathematics, and computer science. Their PhD is not that required. Of course, these days consultancies, business are also growing, and then there again, PhD is not mandatory. So it depends that if you are focusing for core research, then of course PhD could be mandatory for your growth. Maybe you can join the company at master level and do the research, but for the growth you may need a PhD at some point of time. But if it is not research, then even the master degree would be enough.
Yeah, I think Dr. Vinash put it very correctly. So if research, PhD is must, and this is what I have seen. I worked in R&Ds. I worked on commercial side as well. I worked with multinationals. I was heading multinationals for Asia region. So if it is research, I would say PhD is must, and that too, it should be a good commercial PhD. Then it will be even better. If you are going on the other side, you are not getting into research, you are getting into commercial side of biotechnology. You are into sales, marketing, business development, even sometimes quality control with pharmaceutical company, food companies, and all. So then you may have MSc, MTech, or MBA, or whatever. Only my advice would be, please don't waste time. So some students I have seen, they just keep doing something or other, and then finally feel that okay, ek degree aur kar leta hu, that will help. So no, 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 no. Be very clear in your mind which field you want to go, and then go for it wholeheartedly. And research, PhD is must.
That was put very well, sir. So we could move on to the next question. What should the bachelor students focus on just after graduating? Like, should they go in domains like data science and software? And can they later come back in the bio domain?
I think Dr. Vinash would be the right person. uh,
Can you just repeat the question once again? I couldn't hear that properly.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
So what should the bachelor students focus on just after graduating? Should they go in domains like data science and software? And can they later come back into the biotech domain?
Okay. So I understand that why somebody has asked this question, because when you complete your course and you look for job, and if you are not getting proper core job, then you may like to join any software company for time being, and then want to return back to the core domain in future. But it doesn't happen. Let me tell you that it doesn't happen. Once you go to core a software company or IT company, the chance of returning back is less than 1%, I would say. So if you are really interested for IT jobs and software jobs, then it's okay to go with that. Don't think that you will come back after doing 3 or 4 years of IT job. So that is not possible. And the other option is what I said is these days IT and data science are being used in life science. So there, of course, there is a chance because you will be working in the life science domain area. So of course you have IT skills, but you are applying those IT skills in life science domains. So you will understand the life science research also better. So in that case, you can return back to the core area at some point of time.
Yeah, my short answer would be, and that's a good reply Dr. Nash has given, go for something you really want to do. So if you are into data science, if you've gone for, the coding and all, and excel in it, whenever you want to do. I would say, do graduation, but then, do post graduation. But if you're good in, if you keep doing the time, which should be your.
Right, sir. Thank you. So we could move on to the next question then. The last question of the day. One of the students wanted to know about the research activities going on in the fields of medical imaging like CT and MRI, or if the field is saturated.
Uh, no, I won't say that the field is saturated because again, once again, this machine learning techniques are being used in these areas in CT and MRI images because you know that there is something called convolutional neural network which is used on images so that you can predict. And of course, I was listening to head of AIMS, maybe a few months back, and he was saying to read these images, maybe machine learning algorithm could be better than the doctors. So I would say that it is not saturated. Maybe I'm not talking about the innovation in that area. Coming up with the new technology for doing MRI or CT scan. I'm talking about the data interpretation part, and there I can see lots of scope because a human eye can make mistake in reading those images. But once you have lots of data generated and you train your algorithm, then the chances of making error would be less. And this is what people are doing. In fact, I'm also indirectly involved in one such project.
Uh, I will also add a point here. This is one of the most happening and funded field at the moment. I was doing an analysis of the top fund uh, startups in the healthcare and biotech sector, and to my surprise, Dr. Vinash is saying, AI based, artificial intelligence based, analysis of all the images, uh, those are the companies which are getting a lot of traction globally and even in India. Out of top 25 firms which I studied, successful startup, at least 3 or 4 of them were into this field. So they were into imaging, but then imaging is linked to AI, and then it is linked to the data. So machine learning or artificial intelligence was much more successful in predicting the disease pattern even better than physicians in several cases. Uh, so this is one of the happening field. I think go for it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for all the answers. So, by this, we just come to the conclusion of the question and answer session. So, once again, I I would like to thank all the panelists for dedicating their time, accepting the request, and giving such valuable insights to students upon how biotech and the allied areas look when they enter into the field. It would definitely boost their confidence and prepare themselves for the industry standard. I would also like to thank all the viewers who asked such wonderful questions.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Radha, for organizing this session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
So
Thank you, Raja. Thank
stay
you,
safe.
everyone, for this time. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Good day. Good day. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, sir. Stay safe and bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.